How does tithing show trust in God? Have you ever wondered how a simple act of giving can reflect our faith? Tithing is one of those practices that goes beyond just financial contributions. It shows trust in God in many meaningful ways. When a believer gives a tenth of their income back to God, they are acknowledging that God is the ultimate provider of all resources. This act is a clear expression of confidence that God will continue to meet their needs, even after giving away a portion of their earnings. Historically, tithing has its roots in the Old Testament. Back then, people would give the first fruits or a tenth of their agricultural produce to support the priests and the temple. This practice was more than just a duty. It symbolized obedience and dependence on God. By setting aside a portion of their income, the Israelites demonstrated their trust in God to sustain them and provide for them beyond what they gave. In today's Christian context, tithing remains a vital spiritual discipline. It reflects trust and obedience to God's commands. This is not merely a financial transaction. It is a demonstration of faith that God honors those who give willingly and cheerfully. When believers tithe, they help support the church's ministry and outreach efforts, enabling it to serve others. This aligns perfectly with biblical principles of generosity and stewardship. Practically speaking, tithing encourages believers to manage their finances with a God-centered perspective. It prioritizes giving as an act of worship and trust. This mindset reminds Christians that their possessions are entrusted to them by God. They are stewards rather than owners. This perspective fosters gratitude and a heart aligned with God's purposes. Tithing shows trust in God in several key ways. First, it acknowledges God as the provider of all resources. Second, it demonstrates obedience to God's commands. Third, it expresses faith that God will continue to provide despite giving away a portion of income. Fourth, it supports the work of the church and ministries, reflecting generosity and responsibility. Finally, it encourages believers to view their finances through the lens of stewardship and worship. Through tithing, Christians actively live out their trust in God's faithfulness and provision while participating in the mission of the church. It is a beautiful way to express reliance on God and to engage in the community of faith.